This is Irontrader, and this is midday trading. So we're going to look at some energy here today. We'll take a look here at crude oil and natural gas. And then we'll take a look here at CRK, which is Comstock Resources. The earnings are out on the 30th. And then the XLE, which is the big oil ETF. And then UGA, which is the gasoline ETF. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, first on the old docket here, we have crude oil and we have natural gas. Now you can see here crude oil. I've been watching the videos here. We had this nice bottoming candle here at 55.12, and then we've been basically consolidating. But if you notice at this 21 days, see how downtrending? The 50-day, the 100-day isn't too bad, but the 200 days coming off here now also. So we got to see how this is all going to shake out. Now, it looks like here we went right back up in here into that 21-day, and it got rejected, and now we're below that key 8 SMA. That's going to be very, very crucial, okay? So what we're looking at here, today's low we had so far is 61.69. Friday's low, we had 61.80, so on just a little bit less than that. So this is what we're looking at right here is this 61.53 level, okay? You can see how nice that is holding up. Now, again, if we start losing this level right here, this 61.53 level, then we're going to come down to the bottom there. You're looking at that 60.44 level. Then we'll come down to the bottom here at 59.43, and then so on. We just follow the candles, 58.76, and then we have 57.88. Then we have your big retest down there at 55.12. Now, remember, OPEC is going to be dumping a lot of crude oil here starting May 1st back on the market. All those volunteer cuts, about 400 million barrels a day, is going to be put back on the market here. Okay. However, you know, if you got a little conflict with Iran or something, you get into a war situation, you could rise oil up. You got summer driving coming into play here. So it's kind of like a two-way trade here. There's nothing really like a one-way situation. But right now we just have this basically sideways kind of action. Okay. So for me, I just traded both ways. UCO for the long, SEO for the short. I took a short there today because, bottom line, because this 21-day got rejected. So now I'm going to see how this all shakes out. Okay, so SEO here, you're sitting at 2036. I got to stop there at 2020. So I'm going to see how that works out. Okay, so again, just watch the bottom of this candle. This is going to be very, very key. If it needs to hold that, if not, we're going to start filing down all of the candles until we get to that 55.12. Now, we lose that 55.12 level, then 50 is going to be that target very easy, and even possibly 47 level, okay? So let's take a look at the upside. Well, the upside is right here. It's going to be this 8-day. That's 62.85. You need to get back above that, and then we have the 21-day right above that at 63.85. Now, if we can venture above that, then what we'll do is look at 63.78. We'll come to the top here, 64.36. Top of this candle, 64.87. Then we'll be looking right here at the bottom here is that 65.22 level, okay? Then what we do is we come up here. We're looking at the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 66.09. And then your big target is going to be that 50-day at 66.67. But right now we just have this sideways action. This is just a trader's market. Okay, so we have this oversold condition. Now we're kind of flopping over here, but this is basically sideways. Doesn't mean that can't turn right back up again. Okay, so your green is over your red. That shows momentum there to the upside. So it's not falling off a cliff here. It's basically just have a sideways trading. Now, natty gas here, getting a little good bump here. Now, been watching my videos here. I said it's going to get right down to this oversold condition. So a relief rally is really not out of the realm, and that's what we're getting today. But remember, we also have contract roll. Okay, so boom, you know, it went up a little bit. Now, I jumped into the UNG there today. I got in a little late. It got as high as 15.88. I jumped in at 16. You're sitting at 16.66 right now. So I got to stop there at 16.50. Okay, so I'm looking, if I get my 50 cents out of it, I'd be more than happy with that. But let's just see how this all shakes out. But what it did here now is we left this gap. But first of all, on the downside, you're looking at that 3.10. That is your 8-day. And then we have this 307. That is your 21-day. But then we have, you know, today's low. Okay, so you look at today's low. What do we have is 305. There's your gap. And then we look to Friday's high, 298. So we have a gap in the fill right below that 8-day and that 21 SMA here. Then obviously you retest at 285. Now, on the upside here, we're rolling here pretty nice. You got 3.33. So all we do is come right out to the left here. What do we have? 3.33. See how nice that works out? So always look to the left of the chart. Okay, and there's it is. Okay, so that 3.33, there's your 3.33. Now, the next level, if it keeps on running, is going to be right here. You can look at that 3.37 level. Then we can come to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 3.39. Okay, and then we're going to be looking right here for that 3.50. That is your 21 SMA here. And then we have to see what the reaction is once it gets there. Okay, so I'm long now. I got to stop in place. I'm looking for my 50 cents here on UNG because I'm trading 5,000 shares. So that'd be a good trade here just for on the natural gas here today. So right now I'm looking for that 21 day to see if we get there. Now, again, on the downside, this 8 day, 21 days, everything, if that's lost, we have the gap, the fill, and then your retest. Okay, let's take a look here now at CRK Comstock Resources. Okay, here we have CRK Comstock Resources. Okay, so basically this is an oil company and a big play in natural gas. Okay, the reason I like this stock, I've been trading it for a long, long time, is because Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys owns 87% of this. Okay, and when it comes to oil and gas, I mean, he's right there, and actually had a really good draft here over the weekend. So let's just see how this all shakes out. So you can see here, we just have this basically sideways action. Okay, we came up to 2164, 2206. We had that double top, and then she came right on down. Now what we're watching here is we're watching on the upside. Take a look at that first. Is at 1848. There's your 100-day. And then we're looking here for this 8 SMA here at 1876. And then we have this key 50-day sitting at 1899 along with the 21-day. Now, again, if we can get above all that there, then what we do is we just follow these candles all the way up here, okay? So you're looking at that 1942, and then we'll come up here. We're looking at 1997, and then we'll come up to the top of that candle at that 2029 level. Then we always look to the left of the chart here. We're looking at 2073, and then we have your big retest up there at 2164 and 2206 level, okay? So this isn't like it's like a big mover every day, but what it is for long term here, I bought it way down here, and then I just rallied it on up here. Then I sold it off here on the top. Now again, a sideways action kind of a situation. But if we can break that 2205 level, you could be looking for that 25 level very, very fast. Okay. So on the downside here, we're watching this Friday's low, looking at that 1780 level. Okay. Then we'll come down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 1759, and then we'll come down to the bottom. You're looking at 1669 and 1627 is your big retest, and then underneath that we have that 1490 level. But again, their earnings are out on the 30th, so if you are trading this, just make sure that you pay attention to all that. But again, see, we have the same kind of situation here. So if you look in the past here, you kind of just like up and down, up and down. But if we can get that LNG going, okay, this in here is a really good stock and a really good play for that LNG because they do a lot in the old natural gas. Okay, let's take a look here at the big oil ETF, XLE. Okay, here we have the XLE. Now again, this is all the big oil ETF. This has everything in it. Exxon, it has Schlumberger, Marathon, you name it, it is in here. Plus, it pays about a 3.5% dividend, which is always good. But this is an easy way to trade the big oil companies, like in a nice sweet basket. Now you can see here we got as high as that 98, 97 level, kind of like a double top situation, came all the way down. This was like with the whole tariff thing, the market's selling off and nobody's going to want crude oil anymore. That's all bullshit. Crude oil is going nowhere. You got to face reality. Okay. So what we're looking here on the downside is got key level here is going to be this 8-day. Okay. So you want to watch that 81.32. That is going to be very, very crucial. Okay. On the upside, we want to watch that 21-day at 82.91. You can see where it went right into it. So now we have this basically sideways action kind of a situation. But when you look at this pattern, you look at this could be like a pull down here, and then we have that bear flag situation going on up here, okay? So you got to be very careful. It's almost like the regular crude oil where we have that big all the way on down. Now, again, if we can get above this 21-day here, then we can shoot right on up here, and that would negate that bear pattern. Now, again, we have this gap in this fill, so I want to show you right here. So if you are trading this, you want to watch that 84.59. That's going to be your upside target. If we can get above that 21-day, there's your gap, and then we want to look to the bottom of this candle at 86.71. Okay, so there's your gap. Okay, 84.59, and then right below that is 86.71. Your gap, your fill, and then we start running into all your big boys here. Okay, 87.13. That's your 50-day. Then we have your 100-day at 88.14, and then we have your 200-day sitting at 89.36. And then we have another gap up here. Okay, sitting right here. Okay, so this is 90.34. There's your gap. Then we look to the bottom of this candle right there at that 92.98 level. Okay, so you got a gap, fill, gap, fill, a lot of resistance going on here. But just remember, these gaps here are also targets, okay? So you start breaking above that, it wants to go to that gap. Once it gets in that gap, then it wants to fill that gap. So always remember that. Downside here, just watch this 8-day. Very, very critical. If that's lost here, we can come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at that 80.74 level. We'll come down to the bottom here. You're looking at 80.05. Then we'll come to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at that 78.49, and then so on until we hit that 74.49 level. But right now, we just have this sideways action kind of a situation, and we're trading right here between this 8-day on the bottom, okay, and that 21-day on the top, okay? So that's what we're trading right now. If we break this level here, then we got a good shot at that gap, that fill, and then all these simple moving averages. You bust that, another gap, another fill, and then there's your big retest up there at that 94.21 level, okay? So actually, this is looking very, very good. Now, we got to this oversold condition. You can see that, okay? And then it rallied up here. Very, very nice. So let's just see how this all shakes out. Now, your green is over your red here, and this is seasonality is in very, very much in play on the old XLE. Okay, let's take a look at UGA, the gasoline ETF. Okay, here's the gasoline ETF. Now, you got to be careful with this one because it doesn't do much volume, okay? So if you're going to buy this, so far, you got like 3,500 shares, okay, which is basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, shit. Okay, so you want to layer into this. You don't want to say, I'm going to try to buy 20,000 shares or this and that. It doesn't work like that, okay? You have to just layer into it, and then layer out of it kind of situation. Now, gas came all the way on down, so we got to see how this is all going to shake out. It's all going to be on that demand situation. Now, on the downside here, what we have is 59.11 is what we want to watch. And then 58.81 is what we want to watch. There's your 21-day and your 8-day. If that's lost here, we're going to come down to this 57.50 level, 55 level, and then down to 52.80 level. Now, upside here, we're watching this here is going to be that 60 level. That is your 50-day. And then we start running into your 200-day and your 100-day up here. Now, a lot of gaps. Now, this gap here is not filled yet, okay? So we're going to be watching the bottom of that candle at that 60.10 level, okay? And then we look to the top of that candle at 60.96. There's your gap. And then we come all the way to the bottom of this candle here at 64.42. So always pay attention to these gaps and these fills. And then we have your retest up there at 65.45 level. Now remember, Memorial Day is just right around the corner. That's only about a month away. 4th of July is right around the corner. So usually you have a good run up here in the gasoline for that summer driving. So, you know, if you're trading gasoline, this is what you really want to trade here. Now, I get in here, but again, I just layer it in small. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 shares at a time, 500, 800, something until, and then when you weed out of this, do the same thing. Just layer right on out and shouldn't have any problems. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after the old pit close. We'll take a look at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas, and then we'll throw something else in the old mix. Now, it'll look like the market is selling off, but not really hard. Nasdaq's down 204. Dow's down 109, the S&P's down 40. But again, this is really a good thing. Look for buying opportunities today for Turnaround Tuesday. Okay, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.